Thank you all for coming, for being here. Hi, Shony. Hi, Jessica.
Hello, Naomi.
Before we start an incredible and fun conversation, I'd like to just mention the book that Jessica is holding so nicely. This is a book that we've worked on for a year. And it's really wonderful tonight to gather and celebrate this book and have this opportunity to have a conversation with Shony and Jessica around the work and the context of the book. And I want to thank Shony for hosting us at his studio. And also Residency Unlimited that are hosting this event and are taking care of everything around this event, and hosting Shony also for the residency. Thank you for all of you. It's very kind of you. This book has been, as I said, a labor of love and collaboration. We've been working on it for a year, and it's exciting to finally see it. This is the first time I'm seeing it, first time that Jess is seeing it. And it turned out beautifully. Personally, it has been such a meaningful experience in process to work with the team that created this book, and of course with Shony. We thought through the work, the writing, the sequencing, and the many conversations that shaped the publication over time. It has been a truly rewarding collaboration. Thank you guys. I want to acknowledge the contributing writers, Jessica Holmes over here, and also Jason Rosenfeld, who hasn't been able to be here tonight, but is sending his regards, and I want to thank him as well. And their thoughtful text brought depth, perspective, and richness to the publication. I want to thank Noah Schwartz. She led the design and concept production of the book with care and sensitivity. You can see, if you look at the book, if you open the book, if you feel the book, you can see how she paid attention to every little detail, every color, every flip of a page, aesthetically, sensually, and intellectually. Also, thank you to Sabina Raj-Khosla, the book's copy editor and image researcher, whose thoughtful eye and experience strengthened the book in countless ways. And also to Elad Sarig, who photographed all the works in the book, which is beautiful photography. And also to, of course, to Ian and Sternthal Books, who are the publisher of this book and are collaborating with us and helping bring this book into the great outdoors. We're very excited. The book is, as you can see maybe around you, you can pre-order the book. There's a few spots where there's a QR code, so you can kind of tap in and pre-order the book. It's literally on its way to the States almost as we speak. And you can, again, look at the book here. And thank you so much for coming. We appreciate your time, and let's have a conversation.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm Jessica Holmes, for those of you I have not been introduced to yet. Thank you for coming tonight. I wrote one of the essays that is in Shony's monograph, and I'm just delighted to be here. Thank you, Naomi, for introducing me, and Shony for your generosity and time and new friendship. I thought maybe we could get started, Shony, just for people who are unfamiliar with your work or are just coming to know it. Perhaps you could talk a little bit about your beginnings as an artist before we launch into the more current work that you see around the studio tonight.
I'll start with the end, actually. Since I spent 2 months now with the Residency Unlimited, which is a great place to spend the time with amazing people, by the way. And I realized, because the main thing in that residency is they let you meet a lot of people. And for the last 2 months, I had so many meetings here in the studio and in the RU place in Brooklyn. And, and I must say that I always had some difficulties to speak about my art because, you know, how can you talk and use words when you actually talk about art that is going against it? I was saying it's non-story paintings. So here we are trying to verbalize the unverbalized work. The residency helped me crystallize the way I talk about what I'm doing. And I learned one thing, that when I start to talk about my work in previous times, when I was younger, almost as a student, and I go with some major body of works that I did during the last 40 or 50 years already, then it's more understandable of what I'm doing. So that's one way of talking about it. But I won't take you through my last 50 years, don't worry.
We have to.
But what I would say is that people conceive or look at abstract sometimes as a style in art. And it's not, in my mind, I'm looking at myself more conceptual artist. It's not a style, it's a worldview. And it's actually a way of looking. I'm saying some phrases from the book.
Yeah.
It's not my phrase, but let's keep it as if I'm saying it. I'm sound more wise that way. It's a way of looking at the world, sees not only things, but the energies and spaces around them. And when I heard that sentence, I felt, wow, that's me. And all of a sudden, just before I came over to the residency, I found that book from this, I bought when I was younger, sculpture in American sculpture in the 60s. And there was that frame of Bruce Newman, of a very weird shape. And I was looking at it and I didn't know what it is. And the name says a platform made up of the space between two boxes. And I said, oh my God, actually somebody took the space in between things and the things are not there, although you can trace the, you can see where they were and made an issue of the space between them. And something else came to my mind, that every time I go to a gallery or to a show and I see good paintings, and what happened to me?
Some water?
Not only that I have water, it's okay. Not only that I take a picture of the painting, but I always take some close-up and take some fragments and fractals of the painting, not necessarily of the main issue, a face or a landscape, but the real fractals, thinking that I can get the frequency of the whole work. Thinking that I can get something from the personality or the vibration or the frequency of the picture only by looking at part of it. So, is that answering what you asked?
Of course it is. Shony, further to that, I was wondering if you could talk to us a little bit about your process in making a painting. How do you approach the canvas? What are you thinking about? Do you have any rituals?
Okay,
Yeah.
so the truth is, and that goes back to the 50 years back. Mm-hmm. For many years, I couldn't see any connection between my works during the years. And I was it really bothered me. I mean, I said to myself, I mean, who am I as an artist? What am I standing for? What am I bringing to the table? And every artist wants to be known for something. And I couldn't find a thread. But it happened only exactly 10 years ago, in 2016. At some point, I came up with an idea, and I showed it to somebody I worked with at that time. And she said, yeah, but you know, and she took me to one of the drawers and said, look what I did here 5 years ago, which if you take a picture of it closer, it looks the same. And then look what you did 20 years ago. And then look what you did as a student in art school. And then look at your father's drawings. My father was an entomologist and used to draw the insects, the part of the insects for his scientific books. And all of a sudden, being 60 years and something, I realized that there was some kind of a connection between what I'm doing through the years. And that was a revelation for me, without knowing. That's why today I tell artists I meet that if they change their style, and I'm looking at you, Olivia, when you change something all of a sudden in your work, and it's great, it's okay, because at some point you would see connection. So when I realized that, and that goes to your question, I said to myself, okay, in that case, forget ideas, forget images, forget stories, forget everything you know. Just put the canvas on the floor and start to work without any agenda. So I work on the floor, and I know I want it black, I want it dark, I want it bright. I think the main issue is what would be the size of the elements in the frame, because that's the whole story, the size of the objects on the frame. And it goes back to the fractal theory of, never mind. So I work on the floor from all sides, not knowing what will happen. And it's a kind of a conversation. You make a move. Somebody once told me, like a computer, the way they work is like 1 and 0. Mm-hmm. The 0 is the big potential. The 1 is when you do an act. So it's the white canvas is a big potential, right? Everybody's afraid of the white canvas syndrome. But then you do an act, and all of a sudden, it becomes 0 again. That's the beginning. Okay, what does it say? How could I continue? And there's kind of a dialogue started to be between the canvas and myself. And it's actually a dialogue and a process, and it happens by itself. Obviously, I mean, we are human, so there are agendas, there are gimmicks, there are things, you know, how they will come, and you're some kind of manipulated between those innocence in one hand and some kind of experience in the other sense.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm getting better.
You are good.
Okay. One of the ideas that emerges in the book that is here, again, there's 2 essays and 1 conversation with Shony. And so one of the ideas that emerges is the role of time in your practice. It's kind of a consistent idea that comes up in your work in general and painting. My question is, can you talk about it in relation to your painting process? Because there are many different aspects to time in your work at large.
Yeah, I'm really big in dates and here and now, and leaving some kind of scratches in the film of your life. And I do see every picture of mine as a frame in a bigger film. As I said before, everything is one big picture. Um, there's another aspect that lately, maybe because I'm getting, during the year, the idea of the immortality of the artwork, and through that, the immortality of the artist. And in fact, I think that my next step in my paintings would be some kind of dealing with that idea of immortality as an artist. I must say that for many years, I'm signing each one of my paintings with some kind of seal that says in Hebrew, Hine ani, here I am. And in my mind, every picture and every work that you do is some kind of actually part of the artist's existence. And in fact, my dream is to put all my works, about 100 works, in some kind of cylinders and put them somewhere, so nobody will see them for the next 100 years, and all of a sudden, the whole work of mine would be seen years from now, and I wonder how it's going to be. I'll be there. I'll tell them, hi, here I am. So the time in my work is important, and I see each one of them as a recording frame of a specific place and time in my life. And in some of the pictures, you can see big events that were happening and got some kind of mirroring of real, either political or other events around us.
Yeah. I want to, if you can tell us more about how the place kind of affects the works as well, because, I mean, especially, you transition from your one studio to another studio, or different, as you said, different events are happening around us in the world, personally or collectively. How does that kind of charge your paintings?
I'm still thinking about it. The truth is that when I had the conversation with Natalie is standing over there. She's the head of the Residency Unlimited, and she's doing just an amazing job for everyone, for you to know. So I said that actually my aim is to see how, if I'm considering that my work is really related to time and place, I was wondering how my work would actually be different coming over in a new studio, new city, new place. Although, I used to live here in the past, but coming here back as an artist is a different story. The truth is that I didn't have a chance to work yet, because these were really very hectic 2 months, meeting people, going around, seeing amazing places. I mean, we went through the ability of RU to see, for example, Louise Bourgeois' home and studio, which was an amazing trip that we had. I mean, it was really inspirational visit. And so I was really busy meeting people and getting people over. But I guess my relationship with RU will continue this way or another, and I really wonder how it's going to affect my work. I don't think it will be exactly the same. I mean, I don't see myself going back and just doing the same I did before coming over. Something will happen. I have some clues, I have some ideas, but we will see. That's about time and place.
Shony, I want to return to something that you said a minute ago about putting your work in a time capsule and then seeing it come back in 100 years in a different place, in a different time, with a different population, that makes me think of something that I thought about very deeply and wrote about when I was thinking of your work, and that's the idea of thresholds and portals. I see a lot of this in your work, and I wonder if that is something that you are also thinking about, and if so, how does it play into the composition of your works?
Interesting. Well, I didn't deal with it. Again, it was not an idea that I was thinking about, but I was more interested in the relationship not only between the elements, because for me those elements are, my brother has 3 sons, and the younger one, Jonathan, is actually a scientist, and he's heading the nanotechnology department in Chicago University, Northwestern. Actually, he developed that department, and he was in my studio in Tel Aviv, and he wanted 2 pictures of mine this size to his office, and I asked him why those specific ones, and he said, because those shows theories of my work in the nanotechnology department, and that's the way I explain the ideas, and I want them to be in my office. So it's the relationship between those particles. Never mind if they are, you can see them from the microscope or from the James Webb telescope. It's the relationship between them. So not only side by side, but also as layers. And that layers made me all of a sudden deal with it in different ways. Here, for example, you can really see some kind of landscape. I mean, some people can see landscape, but if I will play a regular person, a normal brain, I can see some kind of Second World War landscape in Normandy, but that's me. Of course, when I do it, I don't think that way. And in other places like this here, which I did 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, the play was with having a very focused layer in the back and less focus in the layer that comes on it. And then again, the focus with the black, with those black lines. So I deal with the relationship not only this way, but also that way.
Right.
So I guess that's why you have the feeling of
Right.
Openings and
Yes.
windows.
Yes, exactly.
I want to talk, if you're looking at the paintings, you've had a big shift in the past year in terms of like the color scheme. And I would love to learn more about that, how it happened, why it happened, and how do you feel about it?
Okay, so the truth is that last year I had a show, exhibition at a TL Gallery in Franklin Street with Tyler and Mike Coleman's. And I was looking at my works and I thought 2 things. First of all, I'm too colorful. Too much colors there. And I used to tell people that I consider myself monochromatic person and conceptualist person. And people used to laugh because you can't see anything of what I'm saying in the paintings. But the truth is, explaining you why I'm doing the abstract, somebody said yesterday, Chuang Gu. I had a great conversation with Chuang Gu in Brooklyn. And one thing she said, that you are a conceptualist abstract painter. And it's true. I got into the paintings because I was thinking about my process. And the other thing of being more monochromatic, I came back to Israel last June, and I just started to work like crazy. And I did about 15 of those works, that size. And these, oh, I have to show you. This is a show here. Just water, don't worry. So, and I did, knowing that I'm coming to New York to the residency, I decided to have a different frame, a different size. So I have 3 of them here. I did again like 12 or 13 of those. And another reason I decided to do so is, what am I holding this? And another reason was that when we moved over to our apartment here in Upper West Side, Dorit, my wife, wanted me to. Hi, Dorit, say hi. She all of a sudden saw a few of my etchings that I did as a student about 49 years ago. You can say 50. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting in that little apartment and see all those etchings on the wall, and not only mine, there's some friends' etchings. And my love to the process of printing and the black and white and all the nuances of etchings. Dov knows what I'm talking about because he did a lot of etchings lately. So I saw those etchings and I said to myself, I want to be more into that kind of look.
Yeah, that's something that you talked to Jason Rosenfeld, who's not here.
He was laughing.
In the conversation. Yeah, he was laughing about the monochromatic, but you were talking about the printing process and how the layers and the, being personal with the canvas, but then like having this thing that comes between you when you're like a tool, when you're doing printing on the canvas.
Yeah, it was a really weird conversation.
Okay. You want to talk about the titles of the work a little bit? And then I think in a few minutes we can kind of move the conversation and have questions
we
from
won't
the
do
audience.
it too long. I mean, people are kind of, I'm tired of listening.
Yeah.
No, not for my, I can, I can keep talking.
I want to ask a quick question about the book. How was it for you to see works from 2019 to 2025 in one place? How does it feel to look at it?
Well, actually, for me, it's kind of natural. I mean, what we did with the book. By the way, we had a great designer. Who every one of you who think of doing a book, I recommend her. She's doing only art books in Tel Aviv. She got a lot of awards, international. She got a big award in Japan lately, in the States. So she's a very good designer. And also printing process in Israel is good quality.
What's her name?
And Noah Schwartz. Thank you for reminding me. For the camera. Noah, you wanted me to mention you, so I do that. So she's great. And also printing process in Israel is good quality and less money. Very good price. So I encourage you to do books in Israel. What she decided, and we actually went with it, or it was your decision?
Which, I don't know what you're talking about, so let me hear the decision, then I'll tell you.
Going by the years.
Oh, yeah.
Starting with 2019,
Yeah.
when the works was huge and very specific, too specific. And during the time, it was kind of developed. And I mean, it's really important when you see a work and you see the real work next to it, and you don't get disappointed. So that's very important. And then it goes on, and oops, another one, good quality. And then in the end, the beginning of those works. So for me, the last 5 years is one big unit, and I take it quite natural. And the important thing doing as an artist, doing a book, is a wrapping, put things aside. Okay, that's what you've done. Hi, Sasha. And you are kind of open to a new journey, new tagliot, new discoveries, and that's the way I feel. I'm kind of feel like I'm in a junction in my work, and I'm thinking about the beginning of the new book that will come in 10 years. From now on, every 10 years, I'll make a book. Well, I guess we will wrap it here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think so.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.